It has been a while since I have watched a campy comedic shoujo anime because I suppose I have only been watching anime that makes me cry. But Crunchyroll kept recommending me their new edition, Tamon's B-side, and it surprised me with its humorous take on the J-pop industry and idol culture. Hi, I am Arya Luna and welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I mainly make commentaries like this. As of recording this video, Crunchyroll has only released the first 10 episodes of Tamon's B-side, so I will only be talking about my first impressions based on these 10 episodes. Tamon's B-side is a manga originally published as a one-shot written by Shivasu Yuki in the shoujo manga magazine Hana to Yume in August 2021. But it was picked up again in October of the same year as a serialized manga written by a different author, Natsuno Uzu. It's a very popular manga, so this anime adaptation was much anticipated by the fans. The anime is campy and colorful and essentially a rom-com about a superfan ending up at her oshi's home because of her mini job. But it is also a satirical take on idol culture and a commentary on the J-pop industry. It was super fun to watch and it has some absolutely hilarious moments. I saw someone on Twitter, aka X, say that it is a love letter to fans, and I absolutely agree. But it also offers an interesting take on power dynamics between an idol and a fan, different forms of attachments and expectations in fan culture. At a time when chronically online behavior is a pandemic of sorts that is leading people to develop problematic parasocial attachments, and public figures are becoming victims of these blurred boundaries, this show offers a refreshing take, a warning, if you will, about parasocial attachments, and a take that emphasizes the existence of a real vulnerable human being behind the oshi or the idol's public persona. And this public persona is, well, curated and cultivated. And behind all the theatrical comedic elements of the show lies a plea towards fans not to conflate an idolized persona with parasocial feelings of attachment. This is a very relevant message for the current times. Now, I don't know where they will take this story, so if you've read the manga, please feel free to let me know, without spoilers of course, whether my take still holds true in the plot beyond episode 10 of season 1. In the upcoming sections, I'm going to talk about my first impressions of the 10 episodes of season 1, what I liked and disliked, and go into more details about the plot. As always, I've tried to keep it spoiler-free, but this video may contain mild spoilers depending on how far along you are in watching the show. So please take note of the chapters and the timestamps. What I particularly appreciated about this anime was the level of self-awareness displayed by it. While it discusses the idea of what is essentially a type of codependency between fans and their idols, it is fully aware of the skewed power dynamics. And the way they go about showing it is also quite clever and funny, to be honest. So, our female protagonist, Kinoshita Utage, is a high school student who works part-time as a housekeeper, and her agency sends her to this client's apartment who happens to be her oshi from a teenage J-pop band called Face. Utage's oshi is called Fukuhara Tamon, and as it turns out, his real personality is the polar opposite of his stage or public persona. Idol Tamon presents himself as confident, charming, and sexy, but his real personality is that of an insecure, depressed, and sometimes a little unhinged individual who displays an extreme lack of self-confidence. Yes, this can be seen as a commentary on the disregard for idols' mental health in the industry, but the story of this anime also highlights how idols both feel an incredible amount of pressure from fans and can simultaneously develop an unhealthy sense of dependency on them for their success and happiness. Of course, it is the industry's fault for capitalizing on the fans and sometimes very young fans and their emotions and making these public personas dependent on them. It is quite impressive how the writers managed to bring this level of nuance in a rom-com with an emphasis on comedy. Oh, what I want to point out before I go further is that the power imbalance that I was referring to is only due to the idol fan relationship. In terms of age, they're both in high school. So, back to the show's use of comedy and irony. What I really liked about the anime is the way it shows Utage being completely and utterly aware of the power imbalance in the connection she develops with Tamon, or more specifically, his quote-unquote B-side, that is, his real persona. To distinguish between these two personas, Utage comes up with some hilarious nicknames. She starts referring to the idol persona as Ikehara and his real persona as Jimehara. In the English translation, it is Hotihara versus Gloomyhara. I don't know, they just feel super ingenious and funny. Utage is faced with multiple sticky situations where the depressed Jimehara-san is trying to use his Ikehara-san persona to manipulate her into saying or doing something. Tamon is extremely aware of the fact that he holds a considerable amount of power over Utage by virtue of being someone she idolizes as a fan. But Utage is shown to be extremely smart and in control of her agency. She is aware of the problem with Tamon's behavior. Of course, the way she tackles the situation is presented in a comedic way. So Utage basically tells him off by saying that Ikehara-san is a quote-unquote national treasure who belongs to all the fans and needs to be treasured. And that is the reason why Tamon shouldn't be using this persona callously. While this logic emphasizes some of the harmful elements of idol culture, it becomes the perfect shield or defense mechanism for Utage from potentially exploitative behavior. These were my thoughts about some of the more serious aspects addressed by the show. Apart from that, I loved the art style of the anime. It's very reminiscent of some 90s art styles, think Clamp's Cardcaptor Sakura or Soryo Fuyumi's Mars. I love the pop colors and the J-pop aesthetic. It's just cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they progress with the story. In terms of what I disliked, it is hard to really say at the moment because it is still an ongoing anime and I cannot form a full rounded opinion. My overall first impression was quite positive. I was actually surprised by that because a part of me expected this anime to be corny, I guess, and I went in blind without looking at any reviews or takes. I really like what it is doing so far. I guess sometimes I wished that they would make Utage's discomfort and her internal conflicts a bit more explicit, and that would be like my only criticism so far, but I understand that it may be difficult to integrate that with the comedic aspects. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this first impressions video. Let me know what you thought about this anime down below in the comments. If you like this video, please don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. I am new to all of this, so it really helps me out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!